Hello, welcome back to the David Watson podcast. Today I spoke with William, and William suffers from CTE and uniquely found out the benefits of hyperbolic chambers, but more so along the route, discovered that people didn't want to help. Hello, welcome to the David Watson podcast. And I did just say we're about to pretend we didn't speak too much, but we've actually been chatting for 40 minutes. But anyway, how are you?
Man, I'm doing pretty good. I appreciate you.
And you, and actually, firstly, thank you for coming on. It's always nice to have guests, and I do appreciate when you guys from America make the effort. And you're always welcome. But why? What is it that? Just give everyone a brief background of who you are and your experiences.
Well, my name is William Person. I'm in America. I live in America. I'm an American. Well, I was an American athlete for Team USA for about 9 years for bobsledding. Before that, I was a track and field athlete. That's how I went to college. I just love to run, man, and they just wind up just kind of taking me around the world quite a few times, many times actually. And right now, like my message is out here right now. I'm just really trying to help other people dealing with a condition that I picked up from. Well, I guess I acquired it from being an athlete. That's what it came from, and a lot of people not recognizing what it really is. And it's such a plague on our planet right now. And I don't think anybody's really connecting the dots. And the people who really understand this thing, I think they're sweeping it under the carpet. And I'm just here to just kind of spread the word a little bit. I'm not here to sell you something or I don't get money for talking about this thing. And the condition that I have, I found a way back from it. And actually, I'm in my 30s in dementia, which is crazy to even think back on those times. I was dying, man. I'm gonna tell you a story today, and the end result was I was praying for death after watching my teammates die. Not knowing that we all had the same condition that was caused by the same thing. Of all things, I thought I had diabetes, and so I thought that's what was causing this. And I kept going to the doctors for 10 years, man, just saying, "Hey, I think I'm diabetic?" And they do all the numbers, do all the tests. Like, "No, you're not diabetic." I said, "Well, something's wrong. I'm confused. I'm cloudy. I know what low blood sugar looks like. I have it, and they just kept telling me, no, you don't have it." And eventually I found out what it really was. And it was probably the worst case scenario. And I've been kind of fighting this battle ever since. But it went from me, laying on the floor, praying for death and begging for death to find the way out of this thing. So I'm really just here to spread the word and help other people. It's a global issue, but no one's talking about it.
So tell people what you have.
Well, there's a condition called CTE. It was really made famous around the movie called Concussions.
Yeah. That's Dr. Bennett Omalu. Is Omalu? Omalu.
Yes, that'd be the guy. Yeah, a guy from Nigeria. He figured out what was causing these NFL guys to keep, being violent and killing themselves or killing other people. And but they didn't take that study far enough, because now we know the biggest sport for this thing is soccer. Soccer is the number one sport for CTE now. NFL is a distant second. And what I know now, from my short time of studying this thing, our biggest population is our military. If you look at there's a study out right now. I'll just speak about the study. I only found one study since 2012. 31% of our mass shootings are done by veterans. These are our heroes. They went away to fight for our country, but then they came back and turned the guns on us or onto other veterans. And it was called PTSD. Yeah. And that's what everybody said they had. But when they started checking their brain, because the CTE, you can only diagnose upon death. You can see the symptoms and everything, but they can't find it until death to verify that you have it. So that's the scary part about it. But now that they're checking those brains, they're finding our military has it. The housewife who had domestic violence done to her, and when she's dying, now they're checking her brain, and she has CTE. I even found a housewife who fell one time. Like, I was talking to her one day, and she this lady was telling me these, she was frustrated with her doctor. She had these symptoms and they can't figure out what's wrong with her. And she told me what the symptoms were, and they lined up with the athletes who what they're suffering from. I was like, wait a minute, were you an athlete? She was like, no. I said, not even a bit. She's like, no. I said, I know you went through a divorce. Was your husband a violent man? And she was like, no. And I said, and he didn't hit your head? She's like, no. And so we talked for a little bit. And right before we ended the conversation, she told me, oh, one time I was snowboarding with my son and she fell backwards and her arm seized up like this. When you see boxers get
Yeah,
knocked
yeah.
out, she did that. I said, that is your problem. They're not going to find that. They're not looking for that. And even if they were looking for that, they're not going to find it. It's just, unless you had a massive brain bleed, these scans will not pick it up. And so the concussion is the only injury, soft tissue injury, that we don't ever treat. They just tell you just don't go to sleep for the first few hours. So meanwhile, all this stuff is, I believe it's just festering in the brain and you give it time of shutting off the blood flow to certain areas. And I believe that's why when I got in the hyperbaric chamber for the first time, I was in that thing for 1 hour and I had 10 years of cloudiness just went away. And I was like looking at the world like I didn't, I, everything was, the colors were so vivid. Everything, it was like I was walking around in 3D. I was like I was a cartoon. And my glass was slightly tinted. And so the salesman sees me keep taking my glasses on and off. And he said, hey, what's wrong? And I said, well, after the session, I just don't feel like I need my glasses right now. And he's like, oh, you're one of those. And I'm thinking, oh, okay. Here comes the salesman. He's going to try to sell me this
Yeah,
20
yeah.
something $1,000 machine. This is what this really is. But the truth is, he was right. You know, some people get immediate relief. And then there's people who need 2 sessions a day for 30 days. And so ever since I found it, man, it's just changed my life. You know, it's definitely turned back some of my damages. And like I'm not on that floor praying for death anymore like I was. And matter of fact, the ironic is like even with my teammates committing suicide, having these issues, I still couldn't connect those dots. And so what I've noticed is people with this condition, the reason why they're in the news and doing so much stuff is because they don't see the condition that they have. They don't understand it. They can't even tell, we can't even tell we have it. I was blaming diabetes, even though the people around me, my peers, people who were doing the same thing I was doing were dying from that. I couldn't connect those dots. I just couldn't connect it, you know? And I was a mental health guy. Like I used to own a treatment facility for mental health and I worked for many of them, you know? And man, I tell you, it's just, this condition is so brutal and it's progressive and it's slow. And by the time, like for me, I had these random days of cloudiness. And eventually they slowly turned into random days of clarity. Like it was, and it was so slow, I just didn't catch it, you know? I just didn't catch it.
So how do you think you got the head injuries?
Well, what I know about the sport of bobsledding now, every time I went down that track, there's these vibrations.
Yeah.
Like there's a, you know, if you ever go to a lake early in the morning and the water's smooth like glass, it's glass. But once things start to wake up, the wind starts to blow, it's got ripples. Well, our ice is the same way. On World Cup day or Olympic day or World Championship day, that ice is going to be smooth. But on them other days, there's little ripples in it. And
Mm.
so when you go across it, the vibrations, it's like shaking, it's similar to shaking baby syndrome. It's just,
Yeah, yeah.
matter of fact, my teeth would chatter as we went over. We're like, you know, it's like a, yeah. And so that, and then there's one other component to that. Well, of course, you got the big, I've crashed maybe 7 times, which over a
Gee.
9 year career is not that bad. I know people who crash 17 times per season. So my seven over, you know, 9 years, I never complained about that. But there's another component to it. Like we pull heavy G forces. Like
Mm.
there's only one group of people that pull G forces like we do, and it's the fighter pilots.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of when they do those bank turns, they, you know, all the blood leaves your head and it goes everywhere else. And so we used to do what we call VIP rides. So we took these guys down the bobsled track one day, and this day never, it always sat with me and made me uncomfortable because on that day I took them down on one ride. I did 6 rides that day. And so when they got out of the sled that day, they were rattled. Like And it didn't make sense. How could you be rattled after one smooth ride like that?
Mm.
So there was an article written by the New York Times, and they found out that they tested one of the tracks in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. This is one of the mildest tracks in the world. And according to that article, there were spikes of 84.5 G forces. And so that's what's destroying our brains. I believe it's the G forces. Because there's also another article that came out last December. And that in that article, it talked about the American military pilots dealing with they listed the symptoms, the Parkinson's, depression, dementia, depression, memory loss, all the same things that's getting all the rest of us with this condition. And it's the same thing, and no one is going like, hey, wait a minute, let's see if we can fix this thing. Let's see if we can. No, it's a little bit more of a sweeping it under the rug, let's hide this a little bit more.
Mm.
And that's what I've been finding on this journey. And so my goal is just
Do
save
you,
lives. We got to save them.
do you think that there is and hang on, give me a second. I'm just going to figure out how I want to ask this. So, when you say like the sweeping it under the carpet, are you saying that you've come across and experienced where medical professionals know what's wrong with you and they're just saying no? Or is it medical professionals can see there's something wrong with you, but because they can't draw the dots, they're just like, no? Because there's a difference. Do you know what I mean? Because one of the problems in medicine, and I think something everyone has experienced, if they can't diagnose it exactly, they always kind of like, well, it must be this then, even if the results are not like. So that's what I'm saying. Do you think there's or have you experienced a malicious, like, we know you have CTE, but we won't acknowledge it? Or is it, we can't prove you've got CTE, so we're going to say it's something else?
Well, in my case, they weren't saying it was anything. They were telling me, they kept checking my blood and telling me I was okay. But what I was trying to tell these people is every day when I woke up, first of all, I never drink coffee. I think it's just gross. I don't like the taste. Matter of fact, when I drink it like people who drink alcohol shots. I'm just like trying to pinch my nose and just, get through it. Yeah, and I never drink soda, and I didn't even let my children drink soda. But I got to the point was, in the mornings, if I didn't have that sitting on my nightstand at night, when I wake up in the morning, I'm not getting out of that bed till 3:00. And so I was learning to live off this stuff because I'm treating my symptoms. I need some boost. Caffeine is going to do it, or some sugar. I'll put that on a nightstand. But I also knew when I woke up, I automatically knew that I didn't know the real day. I got in trouble so many times. Every day, I don't know what the real day is. So I had a little book. It's like a little daily planner. I opened it up and I was like, okay, today is Monday. Okay, now I got to figure out what month we in. I always think it's January or it's August. I was stuck in that little loop. Like, as a matter of fact, when I left Team USA, I won my last national championship at 36 years old. I was 36. I turned 37 that summer. So I moved to Los Angeles after I left Team USA, and people asked me how old I was. I automatically said 28. And then I'm walking away, and I'm thinking, 28? Wait a minute. I'm not 28. I'm 38 or I'm 40. Like, my brain, I was stuck somewhere else. And I never connected the dots. I never thought that it was related to my sliding and like sometime like I would had my first symptoms were during race days. Like we would be somewhere traveling. I would wake up in the middle of the night and I have a panic attack. Like I don't know where I'm at. I'm stressed. I'm like, I jump up really quick and hit the light switches. And I look at the pictures on the wall. Like in Europe, you guys have those creepy pictures, man. The ones where the eyes follow you. You don't see those in America. You see those in Europe. And if I see white painted center bricks, I know I'm in America at the Olympic Training Center. That's how I could kind of calm myself a little bit. I was like, oh, okay, cool. But I rationalized it. I was like, you know what? I have such a great life. Every 7 days, I'm in a new country. Like, I don't know where I'm at because I travel so much. That's what, but that's not what was going on. It was just my first red flag. Yeah.
It's difficult because I work in, coincidentally, I work in head injury rehabilitation for people that have had severe head injuries. And people do not appreciate Like genuinely, I try and explain to people sometimes when they're like, "Oh, I think I had a concussion because I've knocked myself," and I'm like, "Okay, you for the next sort of seven to 14 days, be careful." No, it's fine. I've spoken to, you know, we have a thing called NHS 111 here. You ring the number and they give you advice. But I'm like, look, I'm telling you, concussions are dangerous. You can have a concussion, and it might be 3 months before you have a problem, and you won't associate that to the concussion. If you've actually been proper knocked in the head, been dizzy or temporarily unconscious, you need to start making a written note for at least the next few weeks of anything.
Wow.
But because, like you said, because people will think they're okay, but that's not how the brain works. You can tear the brain, you can have a little bleed, and if you don't make I'm probably in a position where, because I see worst case scenarios, I'm overzealous. But I tell people, like, you know, it's keep a record of headaches, keep a record of dizzy spells, keep a record of when you forget. They never listen. They're not the slightest bit interested. They all think I'm overreacting.
Yeah.
But getting concussed is very dangerous, and people don't realise. They're just like, well, if I'm okay, I've got a headache, I'll just take some paracetamol or some ibuprofen. It's like, be careful, because concussion can be dangerous much further down the road. I've worked with people that have had head injuries, and they are recovering, and then 6 months later get a swelling on the brain.
Yeah.
And they're like, because of the original injury, they're like, yeah, but that was 6 months ago. And you're telling the family, the family are like, yeah, but that was 6 months ago. It's been recovering. They've been doing this. Yeah, but now the injury's shown itself. It's the brain is. When people say we don't really understand how the brain works, they don't understand that, nor do medical people.
Yeah.
It surprises everybody all of the time. And and the funny thing is I can imagine, like you said, you were competing up until what did you say till you were 36?
2007. 2007 was my last race.
And you're talking about physically men that are in the top 1%.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And when you look at all these athletes, these are physical specimens in the top 1%. If you can compete, whether it's football, bobsleigh, whatever, you're a top 1% athlete in the world, right? Hands down, right?
Yeah.
And if you are kind of almost the textbook definition of the perfect male, and you guys are picking up these injuries, that's how serious it is.
Yeah. Well, once I kind of started to connect the dots, I started realizing it's athletes all around the world that's dealing with it. It's not an American problem. It's not just a Canadian problem or a Jamaican problem. It's a global issue, and that's why I think they're sweeping it under the carpet, because the Olympics are huge. Matter of fact, it's so big right now. There's a documentary being shot about me to some of the biggest networks in the world. And a lot of people are afraid to touch it because of the Olympic money that's behind all the endorsements and sponsorships and things. And it's just, matter of fact, there was the article that came out about our military pilots. As soon as I took that to the judge to show, I'm trying to show the world. I'm not even trying to cause problems. Like, I'm just trying to explain to people what's going on. So I took that article that was written about the pilots. As soon as I introduced it into the court system, it was scrubbed from the internet where you can't find it anymore. And so the New York Times actually sent me an active link so I can still see the article and share the article. HBO Real Sports did a story on us called The Winter Olympic CTE Episode. This was in 2020, 2021 or so. I forgot what year. You can go on their server. You can see exactly where they showed it the first time. But once it went to the court system and I started trying to show the comparison, it was scrubbed from the HBO website, so you can no longer can see that episode about us anymore. And so there's some really big. And matter of fact, the producer. Have you seen the movie Concussion yet
Yeah,
with Will
yeah, I
Smith?
have. It's
Have
the
you?
one with Will Smith
Okay.
because that's one of the things they
Yeah.
deal with is when he is going through the court system. It's one of the things the film highlights is that the NFL do not want to discuss it.
Well, it's still the same way. And so this producer, I warned him when they first approached me about doing a documentary. I said, "Listen, guys, I don't know if my life is on the line for talking about this stuff. My life might be on the line for filing this court case because I went into the court system. I didn't ask them for money. I asked them for transparency. I asked them to warn the new generation before they ever start the sport and to take care of the athletes that were suffering. You know, I really thought there would be more treatment type stuff and, help us figure out what this is and help us. There's too many of us just dying behind it. And, they were just, even to right now, they're still fighting me on just warning people, but my life has played out exactly just like that movie where put it this way, in America, whistleblowers just don't live long. Well, they'll just shoot you and they find you now you're suicidal. You just died in your car. It just happened 3 times this year with the people who were whistleblowers against Boeing Airlines,
Yeah,
you know. So I'm just saying this is what America is. And so when I told this guy that, I said, I'm just being cautious. So just you be careful. And so he works for the biggest ad agencies in America. So he goes up there. He normally has an idea. He takes it to them. They write a check and they start filming. But the email he sent me, he said, like, there's some really big forces who don't want this information coming out. And then in the next paragraph, he put in quotation marks, this is not safe material, which is what I told him in the beginning. And so, yeah, it's like they're still fighting this information coming out. But it's like this. When I started this journey, I was on the floor praying for death and begging for death. And I don't want anybody else's child going through that. It just makes no sense. Fix the sport, fix it. But I also found these other populations when I found some clarity. Like I said, is our military. Like they come back and they said they have PTSD. Now they're checking their brains, and now they found out they actually had CTE. So it was probably a misdiagnosis or a combination of. And so that's
or
the
the
scary part.
CTE caused the trauma that become PTSD.
Yeah, because I really believe like this is a reach out. Like the stuff that we're seeing from the athletes, including myself, this is not really mental health. I worked in mental health my whole life. I
Yeah.
know what that is. It's a physical injury. It's a physical injury that wasn't resolved. You know.
How does the hyperbolic chamber help?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Matter of fact, it was your military that helped me confirm that I know exactly that I'm correct. In the UK, maybe you can confirm this or not. Did you know it's illegal to deep sea dive in the UK?
No,
Well, you're in the UK, right?
not without
Or are
illegal.
you in the UK or?
Yeah, yeah. I'm in the United
Yeah,
Kingdom. You're saying we can't
yeah,
deep sea dive?
yeah. That's what they told me. They can't deep sea dive, and it's illegal to deep sea dive in the UK. I never heard that before. I was speaking with some of your military people probably a couple months ago. He said what they do, and I can share the information with you. There's some island somewhere they go to, and this guy told me. He said they go down there, and this guy he had me laughing so hard because he was like, they go down really far, and he said they stay down a very long time.
Yeah,
And then with you guys' accent, he was like a really long, long, long. He was really selling how long they stay down there.
yeah,
And but I was smiling so hard because I was getting goosebumps. Because what that does is this chamber behind me, this is a hyperbaric chamber sitting behind me here. It's the one that I use. It's just what that is.
yeah,
And what it does, it makes your body believe that it's underwater. And once you get so far underwater, your blood is more like a gas. And it allows the blood to pass through all the blockages and get where it needs to get to. And that's what the hyperbaric chamber does. So it simulates going diving. So, matter of fact, every time you get in a hyperbaric chamber, it's called a dive.
yeah. So I just
So your
quickly,
soldiers. Oh,
sorry,
yeah,
I
go ahead.
just quickly look. You can deep sea dive but you have to be licensed.
I'm just going by what they told me. They said you
Yeah,
cannot. Yeah.
So
But I just not so sure about all of, yeah, but this is what they told me. And
yeah. So,
yeah.
but
Yeah, but this is what your soldiers are using to, he said they go down there for so long and when they come up, they're just like renewed. They're now
okay,
they're healed. And yeah, it's the same thing this thing does. Like matter of fact, this simulates that. They're doing it the natural way.
yeah.
So yeah, and I was like, wow, like I had no idea. No one's talking about this stuff. Like, matter of fact, I'm in the process of setting that up for some of our veterans here in America now. For
So,
the ones who don't want to,
yeah. So
yeah.
how does it work then? So what does the hyperbolic chamber um makes the body feel like it's underwater?
Yeah, it turns your blood is more like a gas at that point.
Yeah.
And so now it can get through all the blockages. And
Ah.
matter of fact, if you have a stroke, they'll tell you if you do hyperbaric therapy, it'll reverse your symptoms. If you have cancer, like cancer doesn't like oxygenated environment. This oxygenates all the cells in your body, so it shrinks your cancer tumors. That's what they say. And so
That's
if
just
you
reminded
have,
me of. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but
oh
it
no,
just
no worries,
popped
no
on my head.
worries.
There's a strong man called Eddie Hall, and I've seen him. He has a hyperbolic chamber at home. I've seen him
Really?
using it
Yeah.
for injury recovery.
Yes. Yeah. Like in the hospitals, it's the same machine. Like if you're a diver and you down there too long and you come up too quick and you get the bends, they've been putting this in hyperbaric chambers since the 1800s. This is not new technology. But however, the difference is, like for me right now, I'm opening up the first ever post-concussion CTE wellness center. So people who can't afford it can come to me and I'll treat them for free. That's what we're working on right now. Matter of fact, we're officially nonprofit and it's 100% free service. And so we're just going to be, simulating all the same things, just you get in that chamber. We have some other things that we want to use with that as well. But it's really the basis. Once you get in this chamber, I was in there 1 hour and it took 10 years of cloudiness away from me. And the crazy part, as it wore off, I went back the next week, like on that Friday, and then I had 9 days of clarity. And man, it's just my life is just it's been it's been changed now. Like I'm not on that ground begging for that death anymore. Like I'm functioning again. Matter of fact, I'm sure. Like I know I was in dementia. I know I must have been depressed. But when you're in that mind state, you can't. You have like everything is numb. You don't get to see it on yourself. You don't get to feel it. You don't.
Yeah.
You're so disconnected. You just know you're struggling and you want it to stop. That's all I could focus on. Yeah.
Is there any evidence that it helps dementia?
Oh, I'm glad you asked that. When I actually came out of dementia, and then I realized I was in dementia.
Yeah.
I went to the people who sell these things and I was trying to explain to them. I said, hey, did you know that this thing brought me out of dementia? And I thought I recreated the wheel. I thought I had just was the first one with this information. And these guys went in there in that little drawer and pulled out this brochure and popped it like, yeah, you mean like this? There's studies out there. They treat dementia, Alzheimer's with the same thing. The problem is it's so expensive. If you're not rich, you're not going to know about it. They're not
Yeah.
going to, yeah, that's the problem.
But that sucks.
There,
That fucking sucks because there's people with dementia and Alzheimer's in care homes spending hundreds of thousands of pounds, dollars, euros, I don't care what your currency is. And that's
yeah,
a machine is cheaper. And these people are
absolutely.
just rotting in their own flesh because their brain's not functioning. And if a
Yeah.
hyperbolic chain brings them back, 1 hour a week or 2 hours, I don't know how long you need to use it for, but that's
60 minutes, sometimes 90. Depends.
yeah.
Is it?
But if there's like a 1 hour treatment a week that you can go into one of these hyperbolic chambers and you become a functioning adult again, as opposed to
Yes.
spending 10, 20 years with a degenerative brain disease where people are just rinsing you for money to take care of you and give you
Yeah.
bullshit medication. That's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
fucking wrong on every
Yeah.
level.
It really is. And guys, like I said, like one day my teammate, like Do you know a movie called Jerry Maguire? You
Yeah,
ever see
yeah.
that movie
Tom
or heard
Cruise
about it?
and
Yeah, Cuba Gooding Jr.
that's him. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
disappeared. You haven't seen
Well,
much of him these days. Great actor
yeah,
as well.
he's in trouble right now. He's in trouble.
Oh, is he? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was hanging out with P Diddy. Put it that way.
Mm,
So yeah, he's in. Matter. I used
that's
to
the
work
wrong
for
sort of
Diddy a
trouble,
long
man.
time ago. Yeah, I used to work for that guy a while back. You know.
We'll
Matter.
talk
Yeah,
about
it's
that when we
crazy.
stop recording.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah. So the short story is um man. See, that's one of my little glitches right there. I was
Yeah.
telling you something. That's my last glitch.
You
I'll
asked me
lose that.
about Jerry Maguire.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 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 So I was doing all this Hollywood stuff. Like I played five different characters. I was the guy they brought in I ran relief. I was a fast sprinter. So they just brought me in to run fast on camera and make it look good. You know, that's what I was doing. And this one of my teammates knew that. And so he wanted to be a Hollywood writer. So he called me one day. And he will call me every so often. He had these crazy ideas for movies, right? And it was a concept I had never heard of, never seen on camera. And I'm teaching him how to put it into a script format. And I thought it was just really creative writing. And this was before COVID, right?
Mm.
And so the last time he called me, he was speaking gibberish. Like I didn't understand anything he said. And so now what I do know is like those concepts he had, the reason why they were so unique and bizarre is because his mind had already started slipping. And I didn't know that. And so when he called me speaking that gibberish, now mental health is my background. That's what I used to do. I owned a treatment facility. Um, and so I told myself every day I got to help this guy. And the truth is, I didn't do anything to help him at all. And eventually, I got the word that he went to his family's factory and then he hung himself. And when it happened, like I felt guilty.
Yeah.
I felt responsible, and yeah, I was just very ashamed of myself for that. And then, as time went on, his autopsy report came out, and it came out at the right time. 'Cause when it came out, we found out he was in stage 4 of CTE. And then I realized like there was nothing I could have done that was going to help him. That was number one. And then number two is I couldn't help him because here I am in my own home laying on the floor in my own house begging for death every day. And how could I help somebody else when I'm struggling like that? And I didn't know. Like I always thought I was supposed to save his life, but the truth was he came in and he saved my life. That's what it really was. And and after that I've been fighting ever since, just trying to spread the word. This is what it is. Guys, be careful.
Yeah.
And then when Hyperbaric showed up, it was by a fluke. Good old Joe Namath, man of all people. He played football before my lifetime. Like I wasn't alive when he played football. And here he shows up saying he used hyperbaric to reverse his CTE symptoms. So now I know it's CTE. So now I'm researching just that. And I didn't think it was going to work because I tried everything I could possibly find. I'm treating every symptom. Nothing's working. And so when I tried it, man, I'm telling you, I was in that chamber for 1 hour and it just changed my life. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you the real news. Like the first night I got home after that chamber, like the colors are so pretty. And like one thing about CTE, you're going to have migraines. You're going to probably deal with vertigo, things like that sometime. So that night I woke up I fell asleep on the couch about 9 o'clock watching the two television. And I remember waking up around midnight with this migraine. I hadn't had one in a while, and I'm thinking, oh my God, this hyperbaric chamber, I might have made a mistake because I haven't. But on the other hand, I didn't. I knew I was wrong because, man, I've never had a migraine and had an erection at the same time. I had both. Nobody says, honey, I got this migraine. Let's go make love. Like, no.
No, way, do not.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't even know she exists. I'm in a dark corner somewhere with the lights out. You know, I don't want to smell anything. I'm going to puke, you know?
Yeah.
And so I went back to bed at midnight. I woke up in the morning about 8, 9 o'clock and the migraine is gone. I can still feel where it was, but it's gone. But that erection is still there.
Oh,
And that was 8, 9 hours later. Like, and over the next few hours, my cloudiness just slowly just subsided. By that next day, man, everything was clear. That confusion I had was gone. And I'm just thinking like,
no, yeah. Hold on.
wow.
Time out. Let's back up. How did this thing work for a good erection again?
Yeah, man, it's rewriting. It was rewiring something. It was I've never I never even had problems with erectional issues, you know.
Yeah.
But I've never ever had one while I had a migraine. That's for sure. But so it was doing something to that brain. It was sending blood everywhere. And man, my life has just been it's just been a blessing ever since. That's all I can really say. I can't really express that more.
I'm still the thing I don't understand, like, and this is possibly going off on a slight tangent. Because there was a myth in the UK that our National Health Service is free, because obviously it's paid for by taxes. Because it's paid
Right.
for by taxes, we don't necessarily have the most advanced medication and medical treatment in the world, but we do have some amazing specialists.
Right.
But you would think, like, for anywhere in Europe, because pretty much there is some form of NHS healthcare in Europe is pretty much free because it's paid for in taxes.
Yeah.
And you just think if the hyperbolic chamber could do all of this, they would just use them. Do you know what I mean? Because we spend billions a year treating symptoms when you have something that can do the same without the need for
Yeah.
medication. And it just, and if you're not careful, and it's not a route I want to kind of get into, but you're just like, this is big pharma conspiracies all over. It's like, yeah, we know this can do this,
Yeah.
but we're not going to do it because we can't make money
Yeah.
out of it the same way.
Yeah, and I really believe that's 100% what it is. I'm
I
confident
hate,
that's
I
what it is.
genuinely hate that sort of thing because I'm all for making a profit. I'm all for making money. Christ, dear Lord, if you're listening, you can make me as rich as you feel I should be, and I'll appreciate every penny of it, but not at the expense
Yeah.
of other people.
Exactly. Matter of fact, I'm opening up. Matter of fact, let me show you this. It's probably hard to see because of the glare, but this is my foundation.
America Post Concussion Wellness Center.
Yeah. And like with this, even though like I'm opening and I'm going to provide this service 100% free, right? There's so many people who want to talk me out of it. Like, no, don't do it for free. We can make a lot of money together. I got these investors that want to throw the money. No, we're not going to do that. If I can't make this a free service, I will not open my company. So what I've been doing lately is I have a TikTok channel and I help people find chambers and places they can go get treatment. So I'm navigating people all around the country to help them. But when I open my own facility, now I'll have everything in-house. And so you can just come to me and we'll just treat you and get you on your way. And so that's what I'm working on right now.
I don't know why it pops
Yeah.
into my head, but you must know CT Fletcher, the TikTok, Instagram bodybuilder guy. I don't know. He's
I know that name.
yeah, he's
I heard that name before.
well, he's famous because he's in Compton and sort of thing, and he does all of these like muscle stuff, and he famously had a heart condition. He's had a heart transplant, but he owns.
Oh, okay.
The reason I think the reason he popped into my head is because he has a gym that's free to veterans, and and I'm wondering if you know somebody that knows him, maybe he can help you with, because he does a lot of stuff for free because he just wants people to be fit and just to train, and I wonder if he can put you into the same circle, like actually these people might help you because this is what we do.
Oh, I definitely will have to reach out to him and see.
Yeah, I don't have a contact from
Yeah. Oh, I'm not too. I could find him. No, he's not too far from me. I'm in Los Angeles too. So
yeah, but the name is CT Fletcher, and he's all over Instagram and stuff like that. He has his own gym and he does a lot of work for veterans and stuff, and so he might know somebody that might be able to help you with investment, with like, no, yeah, you're right, we do this for nothing because it's the right thing to do.
yeah, man, that's a blessing, man. That's why I set up I have a crowdfunding out there right now, and that thing is moving so slow. It's just it was a little bit heartbreaking. I thought like once the information came out, people would rush to because like if you read between the lines, like this thing is about CTE, but the truth is I was in dementia and I'm
Mm.
out of dementia. Matter of fact, I was so far gone. I filed a court case to help the athletes in 2021 or 2020, and my lawyers have actually turned their back on me at this point. They're now standing with the defense. They put an offer out for $2.1 million to pay doctors to evaluate us, but not to treat us. They won't treat us. And they won't give us money for treatment. It's only to evaluate it. And I said, we're not lab rats. So I represent 643 athletes right now in a court. It started with 900. So it probably by the time we get done, it could be more like 1,200. I don't really know for sure until court's over. But oh my God, I forgot what I was going with that. Like,
You were talking about how they wanted to settle, and
oh yeah, yeah, the settlement offer.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what it is. They just want to.
and we
They
were,
just want to just
yeah,
lab rat us.
yeah, and you
Yeah,
were saying that the thing is you've got a crowdfunding page, but it is trying to get the make enough noise out there to get people to come in and just donate some,
yeah,
well, whatever they can, and that's always
yeah.
difficult.
Because put it this way, if we all know our loved ones who go into that dementia phase. Now, if this is the way out of it, it was a way out for me. And there's tons of studies out there. It's not like these studies aren't out there.
Mm.
Matter of fact, Jamie Foxx, I used to do some stuff for him back in the day. It was about 2 years ago. They said he had a stroke in the media.
Yeah, yeah, I
And
remember that.
everybody, so I called into camp. I said, hey guys, I said, first of all, don't tell me if he had a stroke. Don't tell me what's wrong with Jamie. I don't want to know. I don't want to be responsible for the outbreak, outleak, or anything. I said, however, if he had a stroke, I said, get him in and look at the chamber, do the research on that, and we'll reverse that stuff. Now, I'm not sure if he used it or not. I'm not even sure if he had a stroke or not. But that's what this thing does. Matter of fact, just 2 months ago, I was watching TV, ESPN, and this doctor, I'm sorry, not doctor, strength coach for the football team, the Houston Cougars, the strength coach had stage 4 melanoma. And it's just one story. And they gave him 4 to 6 weeks to live. And he did everything the doctors told him to do. It wasn't working. He said he tried alternative medicine. They showed him on TV climbing in his hyperbaric chamber. And now his numbers are normal. Like, that's what this thing is. That's what it really, really is. And it's not just one or two people or even 100 or 200 people. It's literally thousands of people with the resources who know about this. I'm just actually making it accessible to everybody. And that's what the difference of what I'm doing and what everybody else is doing. Like, I'm just not here to collect the money. It's not important to me that way.
Yeah.
Once I own equipment, all I gotta do is hit the switch, click, turn on, we're good. Yeah.
So when will your centre be opening up?
Well, it depends on the crowd raising, the fundraising part of it. Like, I already acquired the buildings. Like, I'm donating those in myself. I'm taking care of that myself. I just need the help money with the build out,
Hmm.
number one. And then the other part is getting equipment. Like, this chamber behind me was $20,000. The one that I'm having built they're metal chambers. And so I
Yeah.
can put 6 people in there. So think about this. If I have one that seats 6 people and they have an hour session, and if I'm open 8 hours a day, that's 48 people per day that we can actually treat. Or I can't even say the word treat without getting in trouble, but we can provide the hyperbaric oxygen therapy to. And it's quick. I promise you, it is so quick. You're going to know. That's
Yeah.
why I tell everybody who reaches out to me like, hey, maybe I should go buy one. No, no, no. Don't go buy one yet. Go try it first because you're going to get the relief or you're not going to get the relief and you're going to understand what you need to do at that point. But don't go spend 20,000 if you don't have to yet. Go spend 100 or 200 just to rent it for that hour and get in it and you'll know the difference. Or come to me, I'll help you. You can get in my chamber, you'll know. Don't go spend that money yet. So that's what I'm really trying to do. And yeah. Well, anyway, that's what I'm doing. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's interesting, isn't it? Because we I mean, you always come back to this kind of full circle that it's like people, just like the film Concussion highlighted. It's we don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. Well, you have to. Like, let me give you the other statistic I figured out. On that PTSD for our soldiers. Now they're checking their brains. They know about, they actually have CTE. So it's reported like in 2020, let me just pick one year, 2020. there was around 6,400 veteran suicides in America. 64, so yeah, 6,400. So, but what they don't tell you is like if you overdose is what kills CTE people because you're medicating the symptoms, and that's
Mm.
what normally kills you. So there's an additional 5,000 who overdose every year. So even if they overdose and they leave a suicide note, our government does not count that as suicide. So there's actually 11,000 veterans per year in America that's taking their life or ending their life. Like, and all I could think of over a 3 year period, that's 30,000 veterans.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all they have to do is probably just get in my machine right there. And how many of them lives would have saved? It baffles me that they understand this technology. And there's pockets around the country that's doing it, but it's too expensive for our veterans. So they're living on the streets now. Like if you come to America, you see a lot of veterans on the streets, because they can't function. And like for me, if I didn't have resources put away for myself when I was struggling, I probably would have been on the streets too. I don't know how I could have survived this thing. Like yeah, I just made good investments at the right time and it saved my butt. It was just enough to keep me afloat,
Yeah.
but I didn't sink. Yeah.
Just lastly, how can people find you?
Well, through social media, it's the best way to find me. All of my TikTok and social media channels is called One Man with a Chamber. And the reason why I say that is because when Joe Namath, when he went through the treatment, he had a team of doctors. And I tell people all the time, I'm just one man with a chamber, sharing my experiences. So I'm one man with a chamber. You can find me everywhere. My name is very easy, Will or William, and last name Person. Everybody's a person, Person. Find me. I'll help you. But this, my TikTok channel originally started. I was leaving details for people because when I started, I couldn't find help. There was no information out there. So I started trying to leave the breadcrumbs for the next generations to come behind me. Now they know where to look, what this could possibly be. This is how you help yourself. But also got to the point once I figured out what this is, how do we kind of get that message out a little bit? And but my page changed. So now that I'm stabilized, I teach people how to live with it. Like I don't want them stepping in all the potholes I stepped in. Because like even during COVID, believe it or not, I bought 4 cars for some reason. I had to have these 4 cars. And just your brain is not,
Yeah.
it's just doing its own thing. And the only thing that saved me is there was a shortage of cars in America. So everybody always wanted to buy the car back. So somebody wanted to buy the car, and so I didn't lose much money on that thing, but I could have went under. So just think of how these men are destroying their families because of the finance issues and because we're making poor decisions because we're not seeing the things clearly. But what I tell people now is like I don't really look for the person like me who's dealing with it because we don't get to see it on ourselves. I look for the family members because it's the family members that's going to help you. Because in my case, like uh, when I was in dementia, I knew I was in trouble. I didn't know what it was. Like I said, I bought a because I was getting lost in my place in Los Angeles, in my neighborhood. I bought a little house in the Midwest. It was a little lake house. And the only thing I can do over there is cut the grass or go fishing in the backyard. I can't get lost there. So I bought that place. But it was a young lady I was fond of in Los Angeles. So I would come back to see her when she come visit me. So on one of my visits was during COVID. And she was on the phone with her family a lot. And they talked so loud, it was just destroying my brain. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I told her, I'm not going to tell you to be quiet in your own house, but I'm going back to the lake house first. I need peace and quiet. But I think we probably should think about breaking up and doing something different. So while I'm at the lake house, the article Sled had showed up and it talked about my teammates and, all the symptoms a lot of them had before they killed themselves or who's still living with this stuff. And I just I read the article. I literally got on my knees and I thank God that all of the symptoms missed me.
Yeah.
I took the article, sent it to my girlfriend. She circled some stuff and sent it back. And the first thing I noticed was noise sensitivity. And I went back and looked at it again. I went, uh-oh. And I reread it. I checked every box that I could remember except Parkinson's. And now I'm thinking, oh my God, like, wow. And at the same time, that's when my buddy Pablo's autopsy report came out about the same time. Now I know he's in stage 4. Now I know he was stage 4 CTE. That's what's wrong with me too. And then I shared the information with a lot of different teammates. And since we don't really keep up with each other, we don't talk very often. So, but most of them told me the same thing. Oh no, the symptoms missed me. I read the article. And then they'll start talking about their life and they'll start telling me these bizarre stories. Like one guy was having shootouts and got arrested for shooting raccoons and things like that. It was just always weird, quirky stuff. And I was like, I told everybody the same thing. Share that article with your loved ones. And if you feel the need to call me back, call me back. My phone rang every single time. And I think that's why these athletes are, and these soldiers are doing what they're doing now because we don't see it. We can't see it. We can see it in everybody else, but we can't see it in ourselves. And that's the scary part of this stuff. Yeah.
And we'll finish that there. Thank you very much for your time. And just quickly, what is the website?
My website is I just changed the name. I was being a little bit arrogant when I named my first clinic. It was called before I went nonprofit. It was just a person, my last name, CTE Wellness Center. And I realized our veterans were dying at such a high rate. And so the thing that connected the Olympic athletes with the veterans is the American flag. So I changed it to American Post-Concussion Wellness Center. So it includes everybody. So the website is being redone right now. But the best way to find me is through the social media. I think you should have one of my links for our crowdfunding.
Yeah.
And if anybody needs a tax donation, like if you donate, we can give you a write-off for your donation. We're recognized by the government officially now. So that was my last thing I was waiting on to be official. And that just happened last week. So
I'll make sure.
But yeah, we got some great things coming, man. And I'm open to the public. This is not going to be
I'll make
you have
make
to be
sure
a veteran.
all the links in the description. So
matter of fact, it was the Canadians who inspired me to do this. The Canadian athletes are struggling at such a high rate, and when I found help, and this thing was working, I was like, "Hey guys, I'm calling to all countries. Hey, get your hyperbaric chamber, get in that thing." And they was like, "We can't get those up here. We've been looking at them since you said it, and you've been posting about it. We can't get them." I said, "Well, I just bought this lake house. I'm almost never here." I said, "I'll bring the chamber. You guys can just come to me." And then I realized, okay, I can help 1 or 2 people per month. But if I open that facility the proper way, I can treat 48 people a day. And that's what the goal is to reach the masses. Because if you come to America, you can't go anywhere without the possibility of being shot. And if you look at all the mass shootings we have here, most of them are related to CTE. And that's the story they're not telling us. But if you do your homework and you're paying attention, you get to see what those people's backgrounds were. They're NFL players, they're veterans, or they're retired. Those are really the same too. There's somebody with head injuries. Even our prison system, 60% of people were there with untreated head injuries. But it's the only soft tissue injury in the world that we don't treat. Is that everything else? We got a 12-week, or at least a 6-week plan to get that inflammation out. Not with the brain. Why? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they just weren't. I don't know. I don't even want to speak for them. But this is the way to get that back.
William?
Yeah, this is the answer.
Thank you very much for your time. It's been appreciated.
But thank you. I appreciate you.
And there you go. That was William. I find it frustrating and fascinating. But I've spoken to a few doctors. I've spoken to a few people in the medical field. And during the time doing these podcasts, and there was quite a consistent theme that does lead down the road of conspiracies towards big pharma, and certainly it's about money, not about care, and you're not going to get care unless somebody can make money from it. So yeah, I don't have the answers. I don't. If I did, I would know how to ask the right questions. But please do check William out. Look at his website. If you know somebody that might benefit from talking to him or anything he might know, please do get in touch with him. The links will be in the description. But as always, wherever you are from, whatever you believe, please do take care and be blessed. Thank you.